What's up, guys? We're back for another episode of the WPHS Rundown. Did you actually know that this month is the CTE month?
I did not know that. What's that all about?
So this school actually offers a bunch of really cool CTE programs, and we basically decided to take a deep dive into all the different CTE programs that the school offers. And of course, we still have our trusty sports segment. And yeah, lots of great things to come on this episode, so make sure that you guys tune in.
You're in the CTE program for film, right?
I am, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what you do there.
Absolutely. So basically, the film CTE is a 3-year course, so you can take them pretty much at any time. I took my first year of the class freshman year, and then my second year sophomore year, and then I did the third year, my senior year, but it's pretty much in whatever order that you'd like. But basically, you start off with very basic concepts of film. You watch some films. I mean, you learn how to use camera equipment, audio equipment, lighting, everything. You kind of like basically learn the basics of whatever goes into making a coherent film. And as you go through the different levels of this pathway, you get more and more into the details of what it looks like to shoot professionally, basically. So yeah.
How do you think you've developed as a filmmaker throughout your years of this CTE program?
I think I've definitely developed to become a better filmmaker. I think there's some great teachers that teach this pathway. And I mean, no later than 2 months ago, I was shooting a promo video for a business, and it got recognized by the Rhode Island Department of Education.
Cool.
So, no, I mean, we're definitely doing some really cool stuff in that pathway.
Independent films.
Yeah.
Pretty
yeah,
cool.
Some of them are independent, some of them are collaborative with like a whole group. I mean, we're currently shooting a drama and a comedy with the entire class. So, yeah, no, lots of great things. Yeah.
Awesome. So, Julia, I heard that you were in the art CTE. Could you tell me a little about what you do there?
Recently for our CCA, we did a ink wash self-portrait where we had to take a interesting photo of ourselves and use it to create the self-portrait.
That's cool. What are some of the course topics or techniques that you learn during the class?
Some techniques that we learned were using the ink wash. Right now we're doing painting with acrylic paint, and we've also gone into, in the first course, we go into 3D things like clothing or something that you can wear, shoes, and kind of transforming it into something like an animal.
Interesting. So how long have you been in the CTE program?
I've taken 2 out of the 3 courses, or I'm almost done with the second one.
Thank you so much. So Lucas, you're a part of the engineering CTE program.
Yeah.
How about you tell us a little bit about what you do there?
So I've been doing it for 4 years now. I'm a senior, and right now we're all just working on our senior engineering projects for our senior projects. So for 3 years before this year, we were essentially learning certain engineering concepts to apply this year to make an engineering project. I'm making an egg scrambler that it's just an automatic machine that you just put 3 eggs in, and then it whips up some eggs, cooks them automatically, and then it just outputs them 10 minutes later.
That's pretty interesting.
So, I mean, it's a really cool CTE pathway, especially if you like making things and applying mathematical concepts and engineering concepts as well to things.
So you go in depth. You go
We go pretty in depth. It starts pretty basic in engineering essentials freshman year, but as you go on, you start to learn more about engineering as a whole, and then senior year, you apply the concepts you learned.
So you said you've been doing it for 4 years. How have you developed your engineering skills throughout these 4 years of high school?
I think I've just grown a lot because I came in not knowing really anything about engineering. I always knew I liked creating things and building things, but once I started actually learning how to do that, that passion really just flowed for me and just became something that I wanted to do the rest of my life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's up, everyone? I'm Trevor.
I'm Reed.
And today we are going to be highlighting a couple things for you. First things first, Reed, let's take a look at some CTE programs that some colleges have to offer.
Oh yeah, let's start with Purdue. They have a biomedical program, which is one of the best in the country, as there are over 7,000 people enrolled in that one. And we're going to highlight another one, Gonzaga, all the way on the West Coast, with a child education program with over 7,000 enrolled as well.
Funny thing is, similar to Gonzaga, we have a child education program here at our school.
Yes, we do, Trevor.
There's a little similarity for you. And also another thing we'll be taking a look at is it's every college basketball fan's favorite time of the year. That means it's March Madness time. So me and Reed will be diving into bracketology for you all.
Okay, so let's start with the top 4 teams in the country. At the 1 spot, Houston, after key wins against Iowa State and Baylor this past week. At the 2, Purdue, who lost their previous game to Ohio State but bounced back against Rutgers with a 30-point win. At 3, UConn, who has been number 1 all year until this past ranking, with a 20-point loss to Creighton and a 20-point win over Villanova. And the 4 is Tennessee, with key wins over teams like Kentucky and other SEC teams.
Right there are some pretty big margins of victory and defeat for the top 4 teams. Like you said, Reed, UConn won by 20 the other night over another Big East school in Villanova. So that is a big upset, as Providence Friars get set to face Villanova on Saturday, March 9th. They'll welcome them in to the Amica Mutual Pavilion in Providence. That should be another good game right before we go into March Madness.
Providence is trying to make a last-second push for March Madness, as their best player went down earlier in the season with a torn ACL.
One of the things that Providence is going to have to rely on while that player is recovering is role players and role scoring, which means scoring off the bench from other guys and from other team leaders.
Exactly, Trevor.
So that's going to do it for me and Reed. We'll be back next week with our bracket predictions on who is going to win their respective games.
Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you for coming in.
Hi, Sam. My
I was
pleasure.
hoping you can expand more on the CTE music program.
The CTE music program is brand new this year. We just got it approved in November. It's the CTE music production, which is different from the CTE music performance. But the CTE music production, it's a 3-course sequence of music production: level 1, a level 2, and a level 3. Other core requirement classes, plus 3 years of a performing ensemble, either band or chorus. Those are the 2 main performing ensembles. And then there's a select group of electives that students can choose from to fulfill that. The nice thing about the music production program is that the level 1, 2, and 3 classes, they're all semester classes. They're not full year classes. So that's kind of a plus. So it gives some students some freedom of course selection that they can fit other things in.
Nice. So how many college credits would you get?
You would get 4 for the level 1 class. So right now, for this year and next year, the only college credit that you would get is the level 1, which is an EEP class through Rhode Island College. Rhode Island College is doing a whole new reevaluation system for their EEP classes. So we're hoping that we're going to try again next year to see if they can incorporate a level 2 EEP class, which would be an additional possibly 4 more credits. So even just the level 1 class, 4 credits, that's a big thing for college students, because that can make a difference between taking a summer class or not. And the nice thing about EEP, it is through Rhode Island College, but you don't have to go to Rhode Island College. It is transferable credit, and it's not like an AP class where they have to score a certain amount. There's no AP exam or final exam for the EEP class. Your grade is what you get, That's what's on your transcript. So.
And so I heard that there was someone who did this music production class back when it was running a few years ago.
Yeah, well, we have a couple of years ago we had some pretty exciting news that a former Portsmouth high school student, Sam Ewing, he graduated in 2009, was brought on board the Walking Dead series back in season 9, and he was working with the composer Bear McCreary. So Sam was kind of working with Bear McCreary, who's an established film composer, and for the last 5 years or so, Sam has been working on video game music, God of War. He's been working on the Cloverfield movies, a lot of Netflix movies, and he made an announcement a couple months ago that he was the chief composer for the spin-off series of The Walking Dead, which started last Sunday. It's the 6th series spin-off of The Walking Dead, which is supposed to bring back the 2 main characters of The Walking Dead. And it was aired on AMC. Sunday night I watched it, and I was just blown away. The music, the opening theme, and seeing Sam Ewing's credits roll by. It's something to be proud of, not just as a teacher, but as a community here, that we were fortunate enough to have a student that came through our program, came through the music production class. He played guitar in the jazz band here, went off to Berkeley after he graduated, moved out to LA, and got the right connections, and is now a very, very successful film composer and TV composer. And this one is his biggest credit, I think, to date. But if you look at his credit history on the movies he's done, you'd probably recognize a lot of movies that he's done, as well as video game music too. So.
Wow. So someone got to come through this program, and then they have such a big name.
Yeah, and I use that as an example because when he was here in class, he had no idea that he was going to be a film composer. He was just your regular student that just, I'm going to go to Berkeley. But I could tell when he was doing his projects in music production, he was doing things at a different level. And still, some of his projects I play in class because they were that good. And I wish I could talk to that Sam Ewing back in 2009 and say, Sam, you are going to be a successful film composer. And he probably would have said, no way. So again, to all students, you never know what doors open when you leave here. All it takes is that little drive and that the ability to say yes and to pursue something. It can turn into something big, and that's what we want for our kids.
That is so cool. And so any students who go through the CTU program will get to know you. Do you have a fun fact to share?
Fun fact?
Yeah.
I have quite a few fun facts, but I don't know how funny they are. I like awkward silence.
Right.
I can concur.
Yeah, just Charlie can concur. No, I just like what I do. I like to see where students end up when they leave here, coming through our program.
That's so sweet. Well, thank you so much for coming. Mr.
Well, thanks for having me, Sam. I appreciate it.
I'm here with
Mrs. Olson.
And we had one question for you today. It's why do you think students should join the art CTE programs?
Well, thank you for asking that question. It's nice to have an opportunity to share some insights to what our program is about. Years ago, we always wanted to have an arts program that was really rigorous, that gave students opportunities to pursue a career in the arts. So if a student really loves that art and they're passionate about it and they want to dive deeper into what it is as a career sense, if you want to be an architect, if you want to work in a museum, if you want to be a designer, if you want to be an art teacher, if you want to be a curator of a museum, or if you want to just be a fine artist or a painter or any of those sort of things. There's so many careers in art. We offer a really solid foundation. All of our art teachers are very passionate about what we teach, and we have really great support within the community to create this program that kids can deep dive into. They have to do 3 years in the program, and that foundation sets you up really well. And then we have a lot of other elective courses to take that can support that. So if students have particular interests in different areas of art, they can do that too. So I teach mostly the painting classes. I also teach art history, and I also AP art history, and I also teach advanced art honors, which is the big class that helps kids prepare to create a portfolio to submit for art school. Anyway, thanks for asking.
Mr. Malacone.
Why do you think students should join the engineering CTE?
Well, that's a good question. So the benefits of joining the engineering program here at Portsmouth High School include using a nationally accredited organization for the curriculum called Project Lead the Way. What it does is it teams up with universities and then real engineers in the field throughout the nation and puts you in positions to go through activity-based learning where you're doing real engineering projects. And The reason they use universities and real engineers is towards the end of the class, you take an end of course assessment. If you do well on that assessment and in the class, you can actually walk away into the career path at the post-secondary level, university, with college credits and have an upstart not just on the other people that are going to be the other students in your classes at that point, but you might be able to graduate early because you'll have extra credits.
All right, thank you.
You bet. You guys have a good day.
All right, so what's your name?
My name is Miss Pellegrino.
So why do you think people should join the Child Development Program?
So child development is unique in that a lot of the things we learn are life skills. So it's things like parenting, human development and growth, and a lot of like health services type lessons. And then from there we also move into education. So anyone who's interested in teaching or in the educational system or working with children in pediatrics, all of those topics are covered within the courses.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much for tuning in to this week's episode of the WPHS Rundown. We hope that you guys enjoyed our coverage on the CTE month. And as always,
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
we'll catch you guys in the next episode.